Welcome to this episode of Destination Dare. Every community in the Outer Banks has a story to tell, and this show brings that information to life. From Dare County history to current events, from government services to local profiles, we keep you entertained, informed, and up to date.
In Dare County, the EMS department operates out of 8 stations that are strategically placed throughout the county. Starting in the north, we have one in Southern Shores, coming down to Kill Devil Hills, into Nags Head, Matteo, Mans Harbor, Rodanthe, and the Buxton area. We also have our helicopter that operates out of a station and a hangar that's located on the airport property. This year, we're super excited to be able to see some of the work that's been done over the last couple of years through the preparation and the capital improvements plan, to be able to start to embark on the reconstruction or remodeling of our existing 8 stations and potentially a 9th station into the system. Our current buildings are anywhere from the age of 20 years old to over 52 years old. And you can imagine the demands on the system that have increased in the last couple of decades, not to mention the last 5 decades. This project is going to go in phases. We will start with the first 3 stations, and these stations were selected on age, condition of the building, the operational impact, and the availability of the construction timeline to move forward. So the first one will be breaking ground in January of 2023, which will be Station 1 in Kill Devil Hills. Secondly will be the station in Southern Shores, which is expected to break ground around February of 23. And then the next one is the Med-Flight Hangar and Hangar House, which will be constructed on a new lot on the airport property beginning in spring of 2023. All these facilities that are being remodeled or reconstructed are functionally obsolete now. The structure steel that's in them, the metal cladding that's on them has just deteriorated to a point that they do need to be replaced. We have issues with the foundations. Station 1 in Kill Devil Hills is our main hub. That is where we receive all the deliveries for the entire station, and then they are segregated and sent out to the substations throughout the county. So we have a main warehousing facility that is going to be included within the station to be able to receive our medical supplies and just station supplies. Stations are the home away from home and is the work home for the EMS providers. They occupy them 24/7. Their meals are prepared there. Their uniforms may be laundered there because of the calls that we run. Between locker rooms, bunk rooms, kitchens, facilities to be able to do reports and to house the equipment, it's a pretty expansive facility once you start putting it all together, and a multi-function facility. So it's important that we are able to have facilities that meet the demands of the Outer Banks emergency medical system today. And Southern Shores is a building that we co-locate with the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department. The area of the building that we locate in is very small. And so small that I have to specially order smaller chassis of the ambulances to be able to fit into the building. And even with that special order, it doesn't have much clearing. You can't open the doors when you're checking out the apparatus. The apparatus has to be moved out front to actually get in all the compartments of the ambulances and do the morning daily checks that we do. The living quarters is also very small and has difficulties with a diverse workforce, being able to have the functionality that we need for male and female personnel. So that one will see a lot of different improvements. The third and last project within the first phase of this larger CIP is the replacement of the Med-Flight Hangar and Hangar House. Currently, these two structures are separate by about 1/10 of a mile. That does slow down response times. Being able to co-locate the living facility right with the hangar of the helicopter is going to be a huge benefit for us. Also, the hangar house, which houses the kitchen, the office space, the bunk rooms, the bathrooms, that building is our oldest structure in the system, and it is 52 years old. In 2024 is when we're expected to start the second phase of this project, and that'll include the station in Matteo, Mans Harbor, and in the Buxton area. The third and final phase will be the remaining 3 stations as we progress in the project a little bit further. Stay tuned for more information. The county website will include updates, and we'll also come back with other updates for you as these projects continue to progress.
In 1939, the town of Matteo, on the south end of town, there was a huge fire which totally leveled the south end of town. So it was kind of a perfect place for a relatively large boat building shop during World War II. There were 12 businessmen in Matteo who were very concerned about losing business and losing population. The skilled workers were leaving Matteo, going to the Hampton Roads area where they were making higher salaries and had a better standard of living. So these 12 businessmen decided, with the help of Mr. Bruce Etheridge, to try to get government contracts to build boats if they were feasible for Matteo. So the first contract they received was from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and it was for 20 dinghies. The 20 dinghies were constructed in the boathouse and they were delivered early. The Naval Academy was happy with them, but then this just kind of spurred the businessmen on to look for other contracts. So the second contract they had was for 2 83-foot wooden air rescue boats, sometimes used as sub-chasers off the coast. And they borrowed money in order to build these 2 boats, and they had to build buildings to construct them in first. So even though the contract was for over $200,000, they lost money by having to build the sheds in order to construct the boats. They went on to build 104-feet boats. They built, probably as a total from 1941 to 1945, 40 boats. Air rescue boats, sub-chasers. They did keep skilled workers home. There are newspaper articles which say that as many as 200 employees were employed in Matteo during this time period. The shop owners were complaining oftentimes because there wasn't enough inventory in the stores in order to satisfy the people. So I think that, even though I think when they started out with the program they might have been a little on the crazy side, that they did achieve what they started out to do. They did bring skilled workers to Matteo. They brought up the living wage in Matteo. They brought in people from the outside into Matteo and allowed Matteo, as Matteo moved out of World War II, to make significant public works improvements.
My name is Brian Joyner. I'm a coastal engineer with the engineering firm Moffitt & Nickel. We've been the town's coastal engineering consultants for 3 years now. And I'm here today in Nags Head to talk to the town board and town staff about the health of the beach based on surveys and analysis that we've done, and about the recent beach nourishment project that was completed in July and August this past summer. And then to talk a little bit with them about an ongoing beach nourishment master plan that will help the town plan for the next several decades of beach nourishment to keep the beach healthy as you see it today. Today we're looking at a beach that has just been restored. The sand has been placed on the beach to restore it back to conditions before Hurricane Dorian back in 2019. So federal government, the state government, and the town partnered to put that sand on the beach. It was completed. It was very successful. The sand color looks very like the sand that was there before it was dredged from offshore and placed on the beach. The dredging that you may have seen went very quickly and very smoothly this summer. The crews were very professional. We've looked at the sand samples. The sand is good quality, and there's also a lot of that sand offshore that we can access for future projects. I think overall, the beach itself, the way it's performed over the last few years, and then the nourishment this summer puts the beach in a really good position going into winter storm season, and then setting up for next summer's tourist season. Anytime we build a nourishment project, we place the sand in sort of a flat profile across the top of the beach, and then we slope it down into the waves. But we know the beach is not a regular square angled shaped thing. It's sand, it's fluid, it moves with the waves, and immediately after placement, the waves are going to start working on the sand. It will start to move. It will move. Some of the sand you see on the visible beach will move into the near shore, out into the waiting area or the bar, or out past the bar where the surf break is. That's normal and that's expected. You know, we don't ask the contractor to push sand way offshore in the profile. We let them put it near shore, and then it migrates the way it's supposed to. So any short-term profile changes are expected. And then we also see the beach responding to waves over time. It will continue to erode as it always does, and the beach nourishment is intended to sort of give you some buffer against that erosion for the next several years, and then there's a planned renourishment in the future to make up for that. It's the process of managing a healthy beach that is prone to erosion but can be managed over time through nourishment. The very near future is that there's not really an active project to place more sand anytime soon, barring a hurricane or a major storm that gets restoration funding. We'll see. We are planning as part of the summer's project to place some additional sand fencing and some additional dune planting to help capture some of that sand that blows from the back of the beach toward the dunes. So that is still in the works. That should take place over the next couple of months. And then after that, there shouldn't really be much engineering activity on the beach until it's needed again to restore nourishment loss. The nourishment this past summer in July and August, we placed sand from approximately Governor Street and McCall Court. That was targeted because that area was more eroded by Hurricane Dorian. North of that, it didn't really sustain a lot of damage, quantifiable damage in Hurricane Dorian. You will see in the southern parts of the town, more sand was placed per linear foot on the beach because that area sustained heavier damages in Dorian and needed more sand to restore it back. Overall, the project was a success. The design went smoothly, the permitting went smoothly. We found there's a lot of sand in the bar area for future use. The nourishment itself, the dredging and the placement went well. The sand color that came out is very similar to the sand on the beach now. And overall, it was just a very smooth, successful project. All the parties agreed well, it seems, and we expect the beach to be in a really good position going into the winter.
Let's talk about a little history of why we're here. The Kitty Hawk Police Department is currently in a building that was built in 1961. It was actually a former post office that was built in 1961. In 1997, that building was acquired by the town of Kitty Hawk and converted into a police station. That's where they're currently located. The police department quickly outgrew that building. It's been known to flood on a number of occasions, whether hurricane or rainstorm, it's been known to flood. The police officers would actually have to go to the building and move equipment and supplies off of the first floor up to the second floor. So we knew we needed a new location for our police station. This building is right here, has been for sale for a number of years. We contacted Pasquotank County, who at the time were the owners of the building, came in, took a look, and we decided to put in a bid for this building. We have been fortunate to acquire this building. We know it's going to take a lot of remodeling and not a lot of work inside, but we're going to have a lot more room, a lot of space for the departments here to be separated, such as patrol, administration, CID. They can have their own separate suites.
The new police department, with the space that we're going to be provided, will be an excellent service to the town of Kitty Hawk. We'll give our patrol division much more space. By moving into this department, the newer space, it will allow us to leave the current space, which was a continuous problem during our hurricane season. During our hurricane season, we had issues with rising waters with the two creeks, one in front, one in behind us. We've had water intrusion 3 different times in the police department. The new police department's location will provide better service for the residents and vacationers coming to the Outer Banks. A majority of our automobile accidents and reported crimes are on the north end of town where more of the congestion is. So that'll provide a much more rapid response. However, we will still be patrolling the town widely like we always do.
We're actually having a groundbreaking at the end of this month, the end of October. We are very, very excited for the public to be able to come view this building. We're going to give tours in the building. And on the south end of this building where we're standing now, Bear Drugs Pharmacy is actually located. We have already signed a lease with Mr. Archbell, the owner of Bear Drugs, who is very excited about staying in his present location. Next to Bear Drugs, there are some medical suites, and we are actually in conversations at this very time with someone to come fill those medical suites, which we think will be a great asset once again to the people on this end, the people of Kitty Hawk, who deserve some medical facilities right here. We are very, very excited to have this building. It's going to be great for the town of Kitty Hawk. We're saving the citizens a lot of money, and it's going to be great for our police department too. We are very excited.
As the weather cools and the days get shorter, autumn settles in on the Outer Banks. The summer crowds have largely returned home, and among the towns and villages, the roads and streets are no longer choked with tourist traffic, and our once cluttered beaches have again become wide open strips of soft sand. In Southern Shores, the heritage of the town is told among the foliage lining the quiet streets of the neighborhoods. For at one time, this was a dense maritime forest. Dogwood is one of the dominant trees of the landscape, and the bright crimson of its fall colors seemingly explodes among the backdrop of evergreens. And it isn't just the dogwoods that bring autumn splendor. Sweet gum and red maple add to the colors of fall along the streets, long-standing sentinels of the once marshy wetlands and swamps that were here before the town, and who now stand guard over its canals and streets and houses. There is a peacefulness, a serenity to this changing of the seasons. Along the pathways that wind through the neighborhoods of Southern Shores, as leaves fall to the ground, squirrels chitter in the live oak as they gather acorns for the winter. As the paths come closer to the sea, the sound of the surf and scent of salt fill the air. Fall brings some of the best surf fishing of the year to the Outer Banks, and with its 4 miles of beautiful beach, Southern Shores has long been a favorite of fishermen and women. This is the time of the year when the winds will sometimes blow from the north and northeast for 3 or 4 days at a time. At times, low, heavy clouds will form, and harsh winds will drive the rain ashore. But it always dies down again. The clouds leave, the sun comes out, and over the Currituck Sound, the sunsets are so spectacular they feel like a gift, something to be cherished, a perfect memory of this place we call home.
"2022 has been a very exciting year in the town of Duck. To start, we celebrated our 20th anniversary as an incorporated town in Dare County. We kicked off the season with a birthday celebration complete with a community concert on the incorporation date of May 1st.
This summer, we welcomed over 10,000 people to the town park to enjoy a full schedule of summer events. Thank you goes out to the generous support of local businesses and their event sponsorships. The 2022 event season included 18 weeks of fitness classes, 14 concerts on the green, 14 magic shows with world-renowned illusionist Clive Allen, 10 weeks of story time and chalk art fun, 5 comedy variety acts featuring juggling, hypnotism, percussion, and more. 5 movies on the green, 3 visits from the North Carolina Aquarium on Roanoke Island, and 3 children's concerts with Nature Out Loud. We added 2 brand new events this year. We had a Shakespeare play. In May, the Mended Wing Theater Company, a group of students from the School of Drama at UNC's School of the Arts, presented their version of Shakespeare's A Comedy of Errors in the Duck Amphitheater. We had yoga with a lifeguard. Yoga certified and 5th-year Duck Surf Rescue Guard Ellie Gardell led 8 weeks of family yoga classes, followed by an informal talk about beach safety.
We also saw the return of 2 of our signature events, the 4th of July Parade and Community Celebration and Duck Jazz Festival presented by PNC. The 4th of July Parade saw an estimated 2,500 people along the parade route and at the community celebration that took place at the park afterwards. The parade had a total of 48 entries, 35 local businesses and community, 12 council and public safety, and a total of 325 participants in the parade. The Duck Jazz Festival returned to record crowds leading up to and over the holiday weekend in October. We kicked off the festivals on Thursday, October 6th, with a jazz story time for the kids in the morning and a special nature on the boardwalk that evening. Over 500 people came out to the town green on Saturday evening for a community concert featuring the La Fiesta Jazz Quintet. On Sunday, a record number of people enjoyed a beautiful fall day of the live jazz in the town park. Save the date. Next year's Duck Jazz Festival will take place October 7th to 8th, 2023.
Coming up on December 3rd from 3 to 5 p.m. in the town park is the annual Yuletide celebration. Make plans to gather at the town park for holiday music, activities for the whole family, tasty treats, the lighting of the crab pot tree, and the arrival of Santa. Donations for the Beach Food Pantry and the OBX SPCA will be accepted at the event. Walks with a North Carolina educator from the North Carolina Aquarium on Roanoke Island were scheduled for the spring and fall. On these walks, we look at plants and wildlife along the town boardwalk, as well as the water chemistry as it changes over time. None of these events are possible without the support of our active and engaged community of volunteers. We are always looking to welcome new smiling faces to the team. You don't even need to live in Duck to volunteer. If you're looking to get involved, please contact me. We are busy at work planning another full year of free family events for you to enjoy in the town of Duck. Be sure to visit the Town of Duck website and event calendar for schedules and information on all town-hosted events. We look forward to seeing you here in the town of Duck.
Traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 17 in North Carolina. Keep your kids safe by ensuring that everyone is buckled up in the right car seat, booster seat, or seat belt. The North Carolina Child Passenger Safety Law requires children less than the age of 16 to be properly restrained in an age, weight, and height appropriate restraint. A properly used car seat or booster seat is required for children less than the age of 8 and less than 80 pounds. The law does not specify which type of car seat can be used at any age or weight, only that the seat is used properly in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and meets all federal safety standards in place when the seat was manufactured. Here are some helpful tips about car seats to help ensure that your child is properly secured and safe when riding in your car seat.
All infants and toddlers should ride in a rear-facing seat as long as possible. Most convertible seats have limits that will allow children to ride rear-facing for 2 years or more. Rear-facing convertible car seats can be used for both infants and toddlers. Young children are safer when riding rear-facing, and rear-facing car seats protect the child's neck and spine. Any child who has outgrown the rear-facing weight or height limit for their convertible seat should use a forward-facing seat with a harness for as long as possible. It is best for a child to ride in a seat with a harness as long as possible. The car seat harness keeps the kids in the safest position, and the harness spreads crash forces out over the strongest parts of the body.
Booster seats are for older children who have outgrown their forward-facing seats. All children whose weight or height exceeds the forward-facing limit for their car safety seat should use a belt positioning booster seat until the vehicle seatbelt fits. Most children will not fit in most vehicle seatbelts without a booster until 10 to 12 years of age. All children younger than 13 years should ride in the back seat.
As a general guideline, a child has outgrown a forward-facing seat when any of the following situations are true. They have reached the top weight or height allowed for his or her seat with a harness, their shoulders are above the top harness slot, or the tops of their ears have reached the top of the seat.
Did you know that the Kill Devil Hills Fire Department and Police Department offer free car seat installations?
For more information on Kill Devil Hills car seat checks and events, be sure to like and follow our Facebook page or visit our website at kdhnc.com.